What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three amigos, three bambinos come together to talk about nerd shit. This week, we are talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day, the latest Spider-Man movie from Sony and Marvel Pictures. We're going to talk about the summer box office. Oh boy, it's been making a difference. But before we do all that, it's me, Luis Gonzalez, and with me is
Miguel Sanchez
and Deadpool.
That's right. The whole gang is here, ladies and gentlemen. And let's just get right to it. You know, Spider-Man Brand New Day just came out. Huge impact in the box office. You know, people are saying the theaters are back, you know, after one movie. So we'll see. We'll see how it's all going. But Spider-Man Brand New Day, directed by Daniel Destin Cretton. You might know him from Shang-Chi. You might also know him from Wonder Man, Season 1. And this movie is about Peter Parker devoting his life to protecting New York City as a full-time Spider-Man. But as the demands on him intensifies, the pressure sparks a surprising physical evolution that threatens his existence, even as a strange new pattern of crime gives rise to one of the most powerful threats he's ever faced. More powerful than Thanos? I think not. But there you go. That was a description from the internet. Guys, before we go on, let's talk about our theater experience. Miguel, how did you watch Spider-Man Brand New Day?
So the first time I saw it was in like standard like laser, and then the second time I saw it was in 3D. And I have thoughts about that. I really wanted to see it in Dolby, but it was sold out every time. IMAX, same thing. So yeah, we just did the best we could. Actually, I'm not sure it was in IMAX. I think that was the Odyssey.
This weekend it's opening in
right.
IMAX.
So yeah, I saw standard and then I saw 3D. There was a brief moment where I thought about ScreenX. Luis was really pushing that and mentioned that my theater had just opened their ScreenX theater, and just in time for this movie. So it was on the table, and it still might be. I'm taking my son to see it again tomorrow, so we'll see what we can get.
Beautiful. 3D wasn't too bad. All right, I'm afraid to do 3D.
No, and I don't like 3D either. Like I wear glasses, so it's already kind of a pain. But I thought it enhanced what it needed to enhance, and it didn't detract too much. And we were in a pretty good spot in the theater where, like, if you're too far left, too far right, the 3D effect just looks wonky. And so thankfully we were kind of right in the center, just in the back, and it was fine. It didn't detract too much. After a while, I kind of forgot that I was wearing the glasses, you know. And my son spent the entire time being like, you know, taking the glasses off every like 10 minutes to see the screen, like to be like, oh, you know, just that kind of experience, which I hated for him because it was his first time seeing this movie. But
So it's like sit still.
But no, he did good. He's surprisingly, especially after a long day, I thought he was going to fall asleep. He sat through that whole 2.5-hour movie. So we're going again tomorrow to see it.
Nice.
Ed, how did you see it?
Well, I saw it in 70mm.
Fuck off.
And it was no, just regular, good old fashioned 2D, big screen. One of the biggest screens at my theater. Whenever they have like a new movie, it's one of the pretty large screen. But we had the perfect seats, and I took my daughter to go see that. And she too enjoyed it. I just had to kind of fill her in on some of the details going into it because she has not watched
like
anything apart from like the Maguire Spider-Man. So
she does know the origins, that he got bit by a spider, he became Spider-Man.
Yeah, and we've seen the you know, Into the Spider-Verse and stuff like that, but it hasn't been like a regular thing. And as I said, she's not familiar with Tom Holland's, and I was trying to, like, in broad terms, explain just kind of like what happened in No Way Home and why, like, nobody knows that he's Peter Parker and stuff like that. So yeah, but she had a good time with it. She told me there was one point where she said she almost cried and stuff like that in like a good way. Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't any special format, but it was a good experience nonetheless.
Nice.
I'm ready to hear about this 40X. Yeah.
Yeah, 40X. That's the next one. I'll watch it in 40X soon. For this
It
one, I
was
saw it
about-
on Screen X, and this was the this movie was actually shot for Screen X. You'll see things that are shot for IMAX, shot for Dolby. This is the first time a movie was actually shot for Screen X. Before, when movies were on Screen X, they would they would pull assets or they would pull images from the screen and just kind of stretch it out. If you don't know what Screen X is, it's basically you have these projections on the left and the right side of the screen. Probably within the last, I don't know how long, but within this decade, right? 5-10 years. And they've never been like on set capturing it. It's always been in post production. Sometimes in 3D movies, they don't film it for 3D. They will take it to a house that will then rotoscope or like kind of crop out the people and then create 3D effects in post production. Michael Bay was actually pretty good about this before, where I think he actually had dual cameras and stereo cameras, I think is what they called. And with that, he was able to actually create true 3D experiences for some of his movies. But for the most part, people don't film in 3D. They just film it and then they take it into a post house. So what all that to say is that in the past, that's what Screen X has been. People just take it to the post house. But for this one, they actually worked with the people of Screen X and created, like, they had two little cameras on the side. So when you're in Peter Parker's apartment and he's kind of going through his trauma, you see things on the left and the right side that you wouldn't see in the square. And so for that, that was very cool. And I'm not to say that the whole experience was like that. There are moments when it was just the normal theater experience of it in the center. You'll have experiences where, yes, you'll see the left and right. But then when he's like flying in through New York or he's like on the rooftops, all of that is kind of like digital assets anyway, even in the regular movie.
Yeah.
So they didn't have actual cameras for that part. So on the left and the right, you can kind of tell, oh, this is not film. This is also digital assets. There are some moments where it wasn't perfect. I feel like I could tell like somebody was like frozen for a second and then they moved forward, especially near the end with the whole Sadie Sink scene. But for the most part, it was actually pretty cool, I think. I had a terrible last seat, to be honest. We were on the far left side of the theater,
So
but we wanted to see the movie as soon as we could. So it wasn't ideal. I still enjoyed it, but it did make me want to go back and rewatch it in the center of the theater. And my thought about this and IMAX is like, for IMAX theaters, you need to eliminate that front row completely. That just needs to be gone. It's a waste of space. It shouldn't be used. It's not the intent of the movie, of the director or anybody. It's just selfish money making reason that exists. And then for Screen X, it's like even worse. It's like the edges should not exist at all because it's kind of tough. It's kind of like a different, yeah, super long, narrow experience. But it was very like, and you felt engulfed in the whole experience. And so, especially when you're swinging through the city, and as we'll talk about the movie, this movie pulled, it really was an amalgamation of everything that we've seen from Spider-Man as far as like the movies, but also video game. And especially when he's swinging through the city, it reminded me of the time when I first played Spider-Man, the video game, and I was swinging through the city. The monitor was super up close, and I felt I was flying. And when you had the left and the right side of the screen projected, I had that exact same experience. Like, oh my God, this is just like the video game where I feel very immersed. And so it was a very interesting experience. It wasn't perfect. There are moments when it did like organically work. Sometimes it didn't. But
I was going to say, was it distracting whenever it cut between those formats?
I think it wasn't. I'll tell you this, as somebody who has watched IMAX movies in the past and how they used to just change aspect ratios throughout the movie, my brain kind of triggered to the same thing. So maybe for people who aren't used to that, it might be distracting, but I was already used to the aspect ratio change from top to bottom. So adding that for left and right was something that I wasn't like, it wasn't foreign to me.
I've said this before, but I saw Spider-Man Far From Home in a Screen X theater in Houston, and I didn't realize that's what was going to happen. I've told the story before, but it is like the first time it happens when you're not expecting it. It's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, well, I didn't realize that could.
That was
I thought something when I first I thought like something was broken. Like I thought like the projector had malfunctioned and we were getting extra things by accident. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I agree with kind of what Luis says. Like, if you're already kind of used to something like that, you can kind of get through it. But it can be a little jarring. Yeah. And I didn't want to take my kid to go see it in Screen X because, like I said, they had just built the theater here, and I was worried about it fucking up, and then like not being able to see the true movie all in one sitting. Um, but yeah. So, what did you guys think of the movie?
Go ahead, Ed.
Oh, well. Well. No, so
You hated
like
it, ladies and gentlemen.
no, I really didn't. I gotta say, I was kind of just like mind blown at how well this movie was received. Like, I guess almost critically, but also
Right, but
like
what
box
about
office wise.
you?
I didn't feel like there was a buzz about it. I wasn't excited. I wasn't like as excited about it, but I will say I was pleasantly surprised. Without going, we'll get more into details as we go on, but I was a little nervous that they might be trying to cram too much into one movie. It felt like they were uh, going down that dangerous way of introducing or just having too many characters or villains present, which can sometimes be a distraction. And we saw that in movies like Spider-Man 3, and a lot of Marvel movies kind of knocked for just trying to do too much at once without just telling an organic story. I felt like the story here might be like the strongest of any of the Tom Holland Spiders. I I thought that all of the, I mean, if we want to call them cameos or whatever, everybody that showed up had a purpose and worked, and then also had like their moment too. I was I liked where they continued the story for Spider-Man personally, and whilst we've seen maybe certain beats like him exploring or evolving as Spider-Man before, this definitely had a different kind of take on that, which made it more unique. And I thought every big moment that they built up to really sung. I thought the action looked really good. I thought there was like a certain texture, like graininess to it, like it was shot in film. And Luis, maybe you know more about that, but it just like it looked really good, just in
It
general.
did.
I think there was like maybe one or two nitpicky moments where, like, say he's swinging through the city where you're just like, it looks a little like rough CGI, but overall I thought it was done really well. And uh, I mean, obviously I never watched the Amazing Spider-Mans, but it's been a minute since we've seen Spidey swing through the city and stuff like that, and so I felt a little nostalgic, if you will. It was just cool to see him kind of back in that sort of action. Cool to see him wearing just like a normal suit again.
Yes, it's very
Like
nice to actually see like
a costume that
a costume. Yeah, he's
isn't so
wearing it.
blatantly CGI'd. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we'll get more into it, but overall, no, I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think it's one of the better Tom Holland Spider-Mans. Maybe my second favorite or first favorite. I don't know. Because the more I see like No Way Home, I have issues with it. I don't care for Far From Home. Homecoming, I think, was his best one up until this. So I think between those two, this one feels more like a traditional Spider-Man movie, despite all of the Marvel inputs. But it felt, in that sense, it felt like a comic book, like a true comic book movie, where you have those characters built in, kind of, that pop up, but they add something, but not just there to be like, oh no, it's him. So anyway,
Yes,
I'm dragging on, but overall, I liked it. I had a good experience with it. So yeah.
I really think what clicked it for me, like because you're talking about the comic book experience, is like when we meet Yelena and she's in the bathhouse. Like
Yeah.
those type of things feel very comic booky. Where like, yes, we knew obviously the Hulk was going to be there and the Punisher was going to be there, but when you incorporate her, who is just kind of this character who's giving out information instead of it just being some random person. It's like a character that we know that's part of the new Avengers. And it's like you don't really need to watch those movies to know what's going on, but it's very comic booky um tactic. You know what I mean? Where like maybe perhaps in other movies it's not a thing that you do, but this is a comic book movie using comic book tactics and
exposition through pre-established characters.
Yeah, and I think that's a nice experience to have, especially for this movie. So that was kind of appreciated. Miguel, what did you think about?
Well, I think hands down, this was the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Just absolutely loved this like new era for him. It felt like a grown-up Peter Parker, who has obviously been doing it for a long time. But it's just it's so crazy that you go back and I watched Homecoming this week too, how young he looked in Civil War as well.
Yeah.
And it's like now he looks like a grown adult Spider-Man. And the weight of the world feels a little more like on his shoulders now, you know? I think it was the best Tom Holland Spider-Man. I'm going to go out and say it. Guys, I think this is the best Spider-Man movie they've made thus far. Like, I think over all of them, this has now jumped up to my number one favorite Spider-Man movie. Don't you fucking make that face at me.
No, I had a twitch in my nose like I needed to sneeze. I was fighting.
God. Swear to God. No, I just
swear
like
to me.
I watched it and then I went and saw it. I saw it on Thursday. We went again on Saturday. I took, Kristen and my son to go see it. And I was just like, I thought, okay, the second time I'll calm down a little bit and I'll feel, but no, I just felt so swept back up into it. And I was excited at the possibility of seeing it again when my son was like, I want to go again.
And you saw it in 3D the second time. So that didn't diminish your.
Yeah. And I was ready. I was ready for it. But those emotional moments, the thing that made me jump straight to number one was like the first time I saw it, I spent like the last half hour like crying at every other scene. And I think that really surprised me. I just wasn't expecting to like feel like emotionally moved by anyone in this movie other than like, I don't know, like maybe the Tom Holland Zendaya stuff. Like, okay, yeah, getting MJ to remember him maybe I thought would be emotional, but I wasn't prepared for Sadie Sink's character to be so good, or at least in my opinion. And so she has a lot of standout moments acting wise that I was just like, oh, my heart is like breaking for you. And for her to have like this emotional arc in this movie that wasn't just like, I'm the bad guy and I'm the bad, whatever. It just felt so, I don't know, perfect. And yeah, the second time I saw it, I just walked away saying the same thing. And I was just like, oh my God, I really loved that movie. Both my wife and my son loved it. Like Kristen was saying she thought it was the best one they've made, especially the Tom Holland ones. And yeah, I'm just like, it's sold out. People are going to see it. People are seeing it multiple times. It's making a fuck ton of money. It's not just because it's Spider-Man. We've seen Spider-Man before. I think this one's got legs. I'm not going to make that dumb joke, but it's like, yeah, like it felt like, ooh, this is like top tier Marvel again. Like, and I was not expecting that because the Tom Holland movies themselves are not really my favorite. I like him as Spider-Man. I like his appearances in the Avengers and Civil War and all of that. But this was the first time I was like, yes, this is a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And we haven't had one of these in a very long time. It was almost the Marvel of it all that kind of diminished it a little bit for me. Like, okay, the Hulk's in here. We've seen them use the Hulk in this way before. It was good. I thought that scene was good, but it was like, I've seen this before. And I really enjoyed when it was just the Spider-Man movie of it all. And then Yelena, when Black Widow showed up, I was like, hey, fuck yes. Like, I loved that scene. But yeah, no, like I said, jumped straight to my number one, like, favorite. I'm probably going to watch this one a million more times. So
yeah. And I think you make a good point about like the Hulk and all these other characters that are coming into play, but I think the way like we've seen the Hulk kind of go through this situation before where they have to kind of tame him and he becomes a wild animal, but I feel like out of most of the times that's happened, I mean maybe it's recency bias, but I feel like the way that they handled that was way more like in theme with the movie itself, because the whole theme of the movie is kind of like accepting both like two sides of you and not kind of rejecting the one side. And when you see the Hulk freaking out, it is this like idea of somebody who is rejected as one side and see what happens when it takes
Always trying to
over.
too far.
It goes too
He's always
far.
tried to suppress that.
Right. And when
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
things like an Age of Ultron where he freaks out in that place and Iron Man has to take him out, like that's mostly like a plot device to, you know, distract or to cause chaos. But here it like thematically worked with the whole movie.
Sure.
And you know, poor Bruce Banner, who now has to go to like a psych ward or whatever
Yeah.
because of it. And but it's the thing is like I think they did a good job of like for this Hollywood film to maintain that theme throughout, where I think Daniel had like a very clear hand and directive doing all this, where one, he was like, there's this theme of, you know, accepting who you are, your left side and your right side, this, the good and the bad. I am both, you know, whether it's like the Hulk or whether it's the Punisher or whether it's, spoiler alert, Jean Grey, all these people are kind of dealing with like, contradicting you know, ways of thinking and personalities and stuff like that. And so the way they handled that was really nice, and I appreciated the way it felt like he really respected the history and the story of Spider-Man. And there were just a lot of moments where it wasn't very obvious, but I could tell like, oh, you were inspired by Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. You were inspired by Mark Webb's Spider-Man, an Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. You were inspired by the video games, you know, and then you also were inspired by what's his name's? Oh my God, why can't the other Tom Holland movies? Who directed those movies?
Now that you
Something Watts, isn't it?
John Watts.
John Watts.
John Watts. And so he clearly, I feel, and then like when the Hulk shows up and he's running down that hallway, I was like, this is the Avengers. When he's like going through that hallway, he's busting through. There's just a lot of things where it's like, I'm not putting it in your face, but it is in the DNA of these characters that I want to really showcase and play it out in the movie. And so I really appreciate it. I felt the respect that was given. And, you know, I feel with,
Sorry.
I was just saying, I feel with you, Ed, about like how much you love Homecoming, because I think this movie, rightfully so, is dramatic and like emotional, and he's doing a lot of shit. But what's fun about Homecoming is that it's so light, and Spider-Man is a very like effervescent, light character who can just like bounce around and be chummy and all these things. And this one's pretty heavy. So it does a really good job of executing it, but it makes me look forward to like, okay, if Daniel's going to do this for this one, and if he's going to stick around for the next one, it makes me excited for what the second one could be, because it's like, all right, we dealt with all this. We can now move forward, because some of my favorite moments of this movie was when he was with Nate and MJ hanging out, talking, and in the living room, going back and forth. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, I love this character. I love this is Spider-Man being Spider-Man with his friends. And there's just a lightness to it that is relatable. And I really appreciate that.
And like his like commentary or back and forth, like when he's fighting people too, it like sometimes that can get cranked to like an 11 in the Spider-Man story, but like this felt believable. It felt like he was being silly and not taking himself too seriously at certain times. And those moments were when I really felt like, yeah, dude, you are like Spider-Man now. Like this is, you're baked in.
I think that is like you were talking about Dustin Daniel Cretton, but I think it's also like full credit to Tom Holland's commitment to this character. It didn't feel like he was just phoning it in at any point. Like there was a certain point in like the recent James Bond films, for example, with Daniel Craig, where you hear all of this on-set discourse just because you felt like he was tired of playing that character, and sometimes it reflected in the movie, but not at all. If anything, you just feel like Tom Holland is committing even harder, and bringing such affection to the character, and that's pouring off like in between those character moments with the other characters too. And like that moment that you're talking about, Louise, when they finally sit down and start being friends again, it was almost like the the finale of the film for me. I was just like, this is it. This is wrapped up so nicely. Like, I don't want anything else. I almost forgot that there were like some other elements that probably hadn't been ironed out. You know, I was like, all right, that was it, another Spider-Man flick, and they're friends again. And but it wasn't. But like that moment was so well earned. And then and we're getting more into spoiler territory now, but that very last scene at the end was just perfect. It was like a perfect end scene for a Spider-Man. That wasn't just like him, riding off into the distance or
landing in front of the American flag right before the credits roll.
It was just like it was so cathartic for just where that character is right now. So yeah, no, I think all of those beats just like really worked, and there was like a killer. It had me cracking up anyway when they started quoting the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah,
I was just like, oh, and I was like leaned over to Lee. He's like, "You'll get that one day."
That was such a great way of showing that, like, it's all the way in their DNA that they are best friends. You know,
and it wasn't always Star Wars or whatever. It wasn't like too gimmicky. It was just like it flowed so naturally. You know, they weren't building to the joke. It just like came out like
it's how it is.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
And I also loved how this movie felt like it was going through different phases of itself, because the last half of the movie is not the movie that you are introduced at the beginning, where you're dealing with Scorpion, who is this person that is kind of infected or taking possession and all of these things. And then you deal with reintroducing Nate and MJ, and then you deal with finally meeting
Ned.
Sadie Sink. What?
His name is Ned. You keep saying Nate. No, it's Ned.
Let's change it to Ned.
Leeds.
I like it's cleaner.
Okay, sure.
No, Ned. Why did I want to say Nate? So Ned, yeah, and so but then Sadie Sink, that character, like you get caught up in that last bit of the movie, and you're like, holy shit, I was not even like in this world in the beginning when he is like coping with the fact that he's alone and he has nobody, and now we're dealing with this other issue. It's just like there are different almost episodic moments throughout this movie, which I appreciate, where it's not just I don't know, simplified A to B kind of story for me.
And it was more you're gradually unveiling the Jean Grey character. First it's this like phantom, and then it's this hooded figure that kind of looks like Doom.
Yeah.
Though obviously I knew it wasn't Doom. I'm just saying, like, it's like green jacket, no face, whatever. And then just gradually unfolds, and then it's like she's taking the wheel narratively, as far as just like we're learning more about her, and it becomes her story as well, without feeling like, oh, where's Spider-Man? It's they're just working together so well. The stories, I mean, not as characters, obviously they're butting heads most of the time, but it's and then like I was saying earlier, the incorporation of those other characters that I thought the whole Punisher thing was going to be so gimmicky, just like just throw him in there, he's a part of this world now. But no, there was actual build up, and it's like, we're going to come back to this character later, but without being blunt and obvious or jarring about it. It was just organic with the story, which I really appreciated. So yeah, sorry, I don't know where I was going with that.
I'm curious about you guys' theater reaction to when they reveal who Sadie Sink, that she's Jean Grey. Was there any, because there was a reaction in my theater, so I was curious about you guys.
Nah, I felt like everybody in my theater knew it was Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think I don't know. Maybe there was some sort of something, or maybe it was just me, because I did smoke a little bit before I watched this movie, because I was like, it's Screen X, let me have a good time. So I was in another headspace, but as I was doing it, I thank God, for whatever reason, I forgot that she was in this movie, and it's like a complete blessing to have that, because it's truly like, man, what is going on? What is this thing that's like infecting all this other stuff? Like, wow, what a villain that this parasite is able to jump from person to person. And then when I see it Sadie Sink, I was like, oh fuck, I forgot she's in this movie. Which is such a great like moment for me, I think.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that over my head as I was watching the first half or the first act, you know.
I will say I didn't because of like how many characters they were including in this, including like we knew Scorpion was going to be in it. I felt like oh, okay, maybe like Jean Grey is going to be kind of like a not necessarily a throwaway, but just kind of like an introduction, like another piece to the X-Men puzzle that we're slowly starting to see build in the Marvel universe. But they've depicted her powers in very different ways throughout all the movies. So I didn't immediately think like, oh, she's doing all of this. I just thought somehow she was involved in the larger story, or like whoever this person was going to lead to
use her or something,
or lead to the reveal of Jean Grey kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, I liked that approach, and then just like the revelation of her plight with her sister, and like she's trying to find this VMAX thing or whatever it is.
Oh, that was such a good moment.
And just like it could have been such like a throwaway thing, like the perfect red herring, you know, and then or MacGuffin. What do you call it? Yeah, the MacGuffin. The item that you're looking for that doesn't matter, but it had such like an emotional impact too. Like that was such a good moment, a good reveal. And I feel like there are so many payoffs like throughout this film. That's just one example, but there's a lot of payoffs that come full circle at the end that I appreciated, that didn't feel, like I said, thrown in or whatever.
I was going to mention this earlier. I can't remember what the leading comment was, but Tom Holland, like I remember when they were putting this movie together, like before they had a script, I remember him in some interview being like, yeah, we're going to make Spider-Man 4. The script's not there yet. And then there's like that, you probably heard him make some sort of comment where he was like, yeah, like I basically like he shot the Odyssey and then he came to do Spider-Man and he was like, oh, what are we doing? Like if we're going to make this movie, like we have to like make this movie, like not just like figure it out as we go along. And I think that really helped this movie overall, is it like they came in strong. They knew what they were going to do. They didn't start until they were ready. And I think moments like what you're talking about with like Jean Grey and the VMAX and those types of moments really hit because it's like they knew what they were doing with these characters from the beginning.
Everything had purpose.
Yes, like, and all these payoffs too. It's like that wasn't just an accident or a fluke. You know, they had the whole story beforehand, which I thought was really helpful. Which is also seems so crazy because it's like before Marvel, that's what most of the movies would do. That you would just have the movie ready. I mean, yeah, sure, there would be things like I think it was like Tombstone's a really famous one, right? Where it's like they were kind of like making that as they went along, you know. But like Marvel really has relied on this like overuse of CG and everything, and so it's like they really do just go, we're shooting this today, but we could change it up, you know,
we can glue it back together tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah. And so it was nice that they let this movie breathe a little bit. In terms of the big reveal for Jean Grey, I was going to say the first time the first movie didn't really have a big reaction. I remember thinking, oh wow, they really just go out there and they literally throw it on the screen. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's Jean Grey. Right. But the second time I knew it was coming, and the guy next to me, he had a very like physical reaction. Because of the way we had to buy our seats, Kristen was in the row in front of us, and she had a guy 2 seats down from her, who audibly said something. He was like, "What?" And Kristen also, because I asked her, I was like, you know, did you know who that was? Like, she was like, yeah, she was like, I had a moment where I said what too. Like it blew her mind that was who that was. And cool. I was like, okay, cool. You're feeling that moment landed, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, there were several moments like I was surprised at the audience. The guy next to me, he was on a date. He was a young guy and he was on a date. And I don't know how long they've been dating, but it seems new. And at the end of it, he was like crying like this, like trying to hide. And she was like, "Are you crying?"
No way.
Yeah. And I think she was encouraging him, like, it's okay. Like that
Okay.
was those parts of this movie that were really sad or emotional. But he was, no, I'm good, I'm good. She was like, all right, man, it's like it's cool, dude. Like
Yeah. We all
that
did
just
it.
means
We all
that
did
just
it.
means it worked, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Those
Uh,
moments landed.
I think you were saying how I think earlier everyone took this seriously, right?
Yeah.
Everyone put their work in and they didn't just throw it away like you mentioned Daniel Craig or it wasn't trying. And you can really feel, especially for a story like this where they're kind of dealing with loneliness and um, all the stress of it, it bottles up to a place where Tom can really deliver, where it's like bursting from, you can feel it, you see it in his neck, you can see it welling in his eyes, you can see him
Mhm.
trying to hold it together while, even though he wants to explode, but he can't. You see almost like, yeah, Tom, he's grown so much, not just as like Peter Parker, but as an actor too. And he's able to bring that to this experience. And it's so funny because I just recently watched Devil Wears Prada 2 this past weekend.
He's in that?
And it's almost, what's that?
He's
No.
in that?
No.
Oh.
Anne Hathaway. She's in that, obviously. But my experience with that was I had similar with Anne, where she was just like, wow, look at you pulling out all these like you are like fucking in it right now. You're like you're feeling so much at this moment, like. And then we threw on Devil Wears Prada, the first one, and it's like you've come so far and you've carried all like that experience you've had from like,
They're
you
both
know,
at the height of their powers,
yeah,
like
exactly.
using all
Like
of those tools.
from
Yeah.
Les Mis to Interstellar to Mother Mary to
Yeah.
Odyssey to whatever, all of these other movies where she's had to carry all this emotional weight, and then she's able to now like take that and use it for
Yeah. That's
Devil
cool.
Wears Prada 2. It feels the same way with like Tom Holland, where he's
Yeah,
had all this
100%.
kind of experience performing, where maybe the movie didn't do so well, but he still learned things on that journey that he was able to take and utilize to express in this movie. And I was just
Right.
like, I know for me, an impactful moment was when he's like with MJ up top on that roof,
Mhm.
and you think that they finally have this connection, and then it's like it's not, and he's
Flipped
just
on
like,
its, yeah.
what a fucking like
Soul
whiplash
crushing.
soul
Yeah.
crushing experience for him when like for 4 years, 4 years or so, he's been like alone, and now he finally has this moment of release, and then it's like it gets taken away almost immediately,
Yeah.
and just that
That
feeling.
had a good reaction in our theater the
Yeah.
second time
Yeah.
too. Like people ate that moment.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Because it almost, again, it feels like one of those tropey Spider-Man moments with MJ, but then, yeah, they flip it on its head because it seems almost too good to be true. And sure enough, it is. But like, yeah, I agree. Especially with the emotional arc that he made from No Way Home to this, like it's all there. You feel that kind of like the pain and the loss that he had from losing Aunt May, but also his best friends and basically his whole support group from either the Avengers and Tony Stark and all of that to being completely on his own. Um, yeah, you felt that and him clinging to his work by way of just coping, I guess.
Yeah. And I think, this is still a Hollywood blockbuster film that made millions and millions. It'll make billions of dollars. It'll make a billy for sure. But I
Already did
think,
as
oh,
of
it did. There you
today.
go. I think it does lay down those like themes pretty heavily at sometimes where it's just like, okay, it can be heavy-handed at moments, but also you can't. It's tough because it's like we're also making a blockbuster film here,
It's
So
yeah. You
it's
got to
like we
It's a
can't
balance it.
comic book movie
it's a
at the
comic
end of
book
the day.
movie, and so the way that you have to balance so many different things is tough because it's like I need to hit you in the head about what we're doing here, and I need to know the plot, but at the same time, I'm going to try to make it emotionally like uh,
Worthwhile.
powerful and palpable. But then again, we also have to utilize, our Marvel green screen CGI action moments where it looks cool, but it also looks like sometimes a little, fluidity or whatever. Like it doesn't look like a real person doing things. Where like sometimes when you watch Sam Raimi stuff, you were like, oh, that's like a person doing things. And here it's like it on paper and visually, like I understand how it looks cool where it's like they're framing and he's like, wow, look at that. He's up here and they're down there and they're attacking and look at that. That's cool. Looks like a video game. But then sometimes it's like, yeah, but it's also like not real, So it kind of pulls me out a little bit. But at the same time, you get swept away with the moment. And I think to combat that, they try to use pacing to their advantage of like, okay, here's this and let's move on. But like also emotionally, there's a lot at stake. And so you have all of these things trying to like keep it afloat, but it's like we're trying to make something that's emotionally effective, but also it's a blockbuster film. But also we want to care for Spider-Man, but also this, so
think about like the last like big moment of the movie is all in that room, and you compare it to No Way Home, where it's like we have the 3 Spider-Men and then the 5 bad guys and top of the Statue of Liberty, and it's like being contained like this, especially in a Spider-Man movie, right? Because Spider-Man is all about like moving and movement. And it's like keeping him contained in that jail cell area and then into the room where Jean Grey is. It forces a little more realism,
Yeah. You were able to get that fix with the hand earlier in the scene before, where it's like, okay, now that you kind of got that fix off, we can kind of use this moment to, I don't know, do something interesting, do something cool, do something more. Yeah.
No, it worked. Yeah, I loved it.
I do think it's funny how the Punisher was like almost a clown in this movie. Because he's like, for the most part, like if you watch Daredevil or his show, it's like he's a pretty like dark character, but then here he's like, oh, what's
yeah,
just that shot of him at the end wearing Spidey's mask. He's like, oh.
That's such a John Bernthal like acting choice too. I was like, oh my god, he's in there. Like, why are you making all that noise? No one can hear you. But he's like a gorilla. He just can't help himself.
But then he has a moment where he's talking about like, I guess like in his that little ship or whatever, where he's like talking about like, you don't know me, you don't know my family, don't talk about me. And like I mean, for me at least, because I know his past, especially with John Bernthal doing it, he like sunk into that like real shit, and then he like popped back up to like kind of that lightheartedness. But man,
they utilized him great.
Yeah, no, it was. Very
I don't like John Bernthal, generally speaking. So
I'm gonna tell you something, Ed. He's pretty good.
But that's another scene too that kind of harkens back to at least like the Maguire movies and maybe the comics. I can't say I've ever read like many Spider-Man comics, but like the crowds of people outside of the hospital, just feeling like Spider-Man is a part of the community. He is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that everybody loves and stuff like that.
It's a little on the nose, but when the Empire State Building changes colors for him because he's in the hospital, I like choked up the first time I saw that.
I like that.
The whole city, it's not just the people, it's like the whole city is reeling from this.
I didn't remember seeing that bit, but
it was it was a good moment.
It's almost like you could tell like they were doing that for the promotion for the movie, so they just got it on film anyway and they put it in there,
Yeah.
Sure. But it worked.
You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. You know what I mean? That type of vibe where it's it was a very like moment
like
of respect.
The banners from the buildings and the bridges and things too. It was a really good moment. Kristen was asking my son, when we were in the car, they did not stop talking about this movie all the way home, which blew my mind. But she was like, did you really think he was going to die? And he goes, what's so funny is my son, he's only 7. And yeah, like he did think he was going to die. But then obviously he doesn't. And he's like at Aunt May's grave at the end of the movie, like whatever. And then there's a whole, and when he was at the grave, my son leaned over to me and he goes, did he die? And I was like, no, because he's on screen right now. Like,
he's picking out his grave.
That's not how that works.
Unless Forrest could be working on another level. Well, maybe technically we're not seeing the reality, and this is like a post.
Dude, when he after the movie, when we were in the car, like he was spouting theories, and I was like, "Oh, dude, you're paying attention, dude.
Yeah.
Like this is our Star Wars for me and him. Like he's into it." So.
I genuinely thought like for a moment like, oh, this is how Tom Holland hands it off. I guess they're just going to kill him. They're going to do like No Time to Die and kill this fucker, and he's going to be free from Spider-Man. He'll never have to be Spider-Man again.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad
No,
that that's
Jean
not
Grey,
how it went.
Jean Grey supports him, and I love that Aunt May still,
The way
even
they
after
use that.
death, she is
Yeah.
still changing people's lives, and that was pretty effective. And like, you go to her tombstone, where it's like, if you, what was it? What did it say? It's like, if you change one person, you change a whole.
Or you say if you save one person, you save, I don't know,
everybody or something.
everybody
like
or something, and
Yeah.
then you see
Yeah.
that the way that like Aunt May, quote unquote, saves Peter Parker, and the way he handles life, and how that ripples into other things, and even with Jean Grey, how like her way of thinking was the hero.
It's the great power needs.
It's
great
like they're so afraid to
responsibility
say
moment.
that.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
don't.
how
and
could we
Andrew
save this
Garfield?
without?
I watched the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, and that one's even worse. Like the way they try to reframe it by saying different words but saying the same thing is horrible. And they get Martin Sheen to deliver it as best he can, but it's just like, guys, just say the line. Like
what was it
it's
in
fine.
Madame Web? It was like they just flipped
Oh.
it completely, where it's like, with great power comes with great responsibility comes great power, or some shit like, hey, we
Shut
flipped
the
that.
It was so
Great
awkward.
responsibility comes with great power, or some shit like
something
that.
like
Yeah,
that.
it's like, guys, just say the line. It's okay.
It's okay. We
We'll-
all know we're watching Spider-Man here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we'll just buy it. It's all right.
It's
And if
like,
May says it instead of Uncle Ben because Uncle Ben was
That's-
never in
yeah.
these movies, that's great.
Yeah.
Just say it. We don't have to dick around with it. But yeah, no, I was super into the movie. I had a great time. Did you guys stick around for the end credit scene?
yeah, I did. I gotta say, yeah. I mean, I managed to sneak a pee in there, so
Good.
I wasn't
think I
too
told
worried
you,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the implication is the whole doomsday scenario. Is that right? Or
Yeah. So what I found interesting was my theater was very mixed on that moment. Some people were like, okay.
a lot of
some
people
people were
did that in my theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think it was their way of like being goofy with something serious. It is going to set up Doomsday. If I remember correctly, I only saw it the one time because I couldn't see it the first time. They say a new Spider-Man has been found, and that's when that thing goes to space, right? So my understanding, or the theory that's running around right now, is that one of the other Spider-Men is going to come back for Secret Wars, like Doomsday Secret Wars, potentially Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, with this whole like incursion thing where like universes are being destroyed. The running theory is that the Sam Raimi universe is going to be destroyed, and he's going to get like pulled into the Marvel universe for these two movies, and then probably like die, and then they're going to like send him off with a big send off. That's the theory. So I think that's who that is at the end credit scene. I think it's him coming into their universe.
Luis,
Again.
I feel like you have thoughts.
No, I think that's right.
Possible.
And that's not. I'm literally regurgitating what I read online. Like me, like pretending to be smart.
You have incursions. You have people coming in from other. I mean, that's exactly what happens. It's like two Earths combining to take up space, take up one space. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense for that. It was a pretty. I don't know. It was a pretty. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was
also
okay for me too.
In the movie, he also mentions Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. And he doesn't, and obviously it's because he's like explaining because of his webs. But I just think they're like keeping Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man alive, like in the conversation for a reason. So,
well, he's also the kind of the fan favorite, so it makes sense to like pull him
in. Yeah.
Over Andrew, even though Andrew, when he came in,
now
Andrew made a big splash. Yeah, so I feel people would not be
he did a better Spider-Man in
Yeah.
the Marvel Spider-Man than he did for his movie. You know what I mean? When he showed up as Peter Parker, I was like, yes,
you guys could have been doing that.
It's good. Yeah, dude, you should have done that because it was so good. What did you guys think about like him getting the arachnid blood or whatever? Like, you know how he was trying to manage both sides of human, the arachnid
like
side.
spider puberty or whatever.
Right. Did you at any moment think that he was going to go like full ravenous spider, where like Man Bat kind of situation?
Yeah, I didn't think maybe like that, like sprouting like fur and shit
Those
like that.
arms.
Though I know that there are iterations of Spider-Man with Man Spider, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
Something
I was
uninspired, but I guess I was hoping it just wasn't going to be like Tom Holland dancing down the street and pulling some jazz moves like Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man 3. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, now I'm Dark Spider-Man. Uh, no,
God, that
I
movie's
like that it
awful.
was more of like a kind of like psychosis thing, I guess. I didn't, yeah, I'm glad it didn't go too far because I
Yeah.
think it's
It would have been too much. There was too much going on, and it would have been too on the nose with this whole like monster theme that they were running with. I just think that would have been it would have been too. I think it would have been a little hokey, and I was glad that they didn't do that.
do you think they should have, Luis, or?
No, I love hearing other perspectives because it grounds it a little bit. But yeah, I think I was teased with it that I wanted to see how bad it would get. And I don't think I ever saw how bad it would get. Like they tempered it before we ever got anywhere.
The
And
worst of it?
yeah, and sometimes what I really appreciate in movies is like there's a moment when like I don't know, I call it the stick breaking moment where like the pieces just don't ever come back again, where your jaw drops and you're like, holy shit, the thing that we didn't want to happen happened,
Yeah.
like that stick breaking moment. And so, when it's like his arachnid takes over completely, it's like point of no return. Holy shit. This, like, he made an action that he can't take back because he tried to whatever, bury it down and it exploded. And then it had a physical manifestation as this way. It was cool with the eyes. I just didn't know where it would go. Obviously, maybe not like a full spider, but like I was curious to see
Yeah.
it go all the way. It didn't. And
Yeah.
I think you're right. Like it's already like a pretty full movie
Yeah.
at 2 hours and whatever. And so it would have been even more of like kind of to manage, which I get.
think because with that would come even more.
There's
Like,
a whole other plot
out.
now that you have to like include and tie up together.
Exactly, like that conversation, like after the Scorpion incident where he loses control for real the first time, like, and the detective telling him like, you can't do that again. That was like pretty much, all right, well, it'll be solved. But yeah, I think, and also I think because I mean, Spider-Man is such a beloved fan, or is such a beloved character, sorry, that when characters like that do cross that line, it's hard to regain that, especially within
in like 20 minutes. Like, all right, let's backtrack it now to where everyone's happy again.
It's like, well, he saved the world. It's okay. It doesn't matter. He killed that guy, but it doesn't matter. I think we got like just enough of a taste of it where it just didn't feel like it was a distraction from what everything else. And again, it was like another moment that did have its own payoff too, when he decides to harness both of those powers against the Hand, as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And I thought that was really cool. I forgot about that moment in the trailer, but like at first I was just like, oh, we're not going to even see the Hand do anything. They like had that cool shot right at the very beginning. I was like, oh, that's already happening. Cool. But I'm glad they went back to that and had that nice payoff too. So yeah, I liked what they did with it without going too far with it, I guess.
Right.
Now, could it evolve later? Like, yeah, maybe. Right? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I hope the next one is a little bit more light fun compared, especially like if we're going to do another new trilogy and then the third one's like him, because I feel like that's what's going to happen. Like this is like the second of the second trilogy.
Yeah. I could see that too. And then him, I think ultimately he's going to hand off to a live action.
And he's already talked about handing it off, and he's excited about handing it off, and he has a vision for that. And obviously, Miles Morales is going to be a conversation that people want to have and something that I think he's interested in. And so to me, it makes sense where the trajectory of it is just like, second one, maybe like a fun thing or whatever, maybe even I'm not even going to say what it would be, but then the third one could be including Miles Morales or some sort of.
I would like to see the, what do you call it? The Evil 5 or the
Sinister
The
Six.
Sinister Six.
Sinister Six. I'd like to see them.
The
kind
Evil
of,
Eight.
Yeah,
keep the
kind of like
alliteration going.
Start seeping in, maybe.
Yeah. A Sinister Six movie with Spider-Man would be very
with a
cool.
Tom Holland Spider-Man. Why not?
Fortunately, we did kind of already get that with No Way Home.
Oh,
I
yes,
can't
you're right.
imagine them like really doing that beat again.
I just didn't feel like.
Sure, you're not wrong.
Because like half of those villains are just kind of brushed to the side when you
You're
go
right.
back and watch that
Because the
film.
main one is like what's it called? Green Goblin,
Goblin.
and what's his
and
name?
kind of Doc Ock.
Yeah.
But even
and then Sandman's
Doc
kind
Ock
of
is
there,
like a good
and
guy
Lizard
most
Man's
of the
kind
time.
of there.
Yeah.
It's like an electric guy.
They're just kind of like they're just there. They
I'm
don't
here
make
too.
a huge,
What do you guys want to eat?
I am so not into this idea of like a whole nother trilogy, because we know that ultimately Spider-Man's going to be in these Avengers movies as well. And we've seen Tom Holland Spider-Man so much already. And yes, this movie was really good. I would love it if because I imagine what's going to happen is it's this Spider-Man movie, Doomsday, Secret Wars, and then finally a second Spider-Man movie in this trilogy. I would rather that one be where Miles is introduced and they team up. He shows him the ropes and then potentially goes away by the end of that movie. And then the third of this quote unquote trilogy is Miles's first movie,
That's very cool.
Just because it's like, let's not overstay our welcome. Like we've had a lot of Tom Holland Spider-Man already. And if we're really going to do the Avengers movies as well, plus a trilogy of this, it's just like, okay, it's just it's a lot. He's getting older. He doesn't want to be Spider-Man forever. None of these actors wanted to be these superheroes forever, I mean, I don't want to speak for him or anything, but I just feel like,
well, I think,
as an audience member, I'm ready to find that bow.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like you and the whole fucking world are really enjoying Tom Holland as Spider-Man. So,
well, he is really good. I just don't want it to go on
predestined that you were going to see this movie 3 times before it even came out, and I think it's already going to happen. So I don't know. I think especially with the way that he is going about this role, I mean, I think that anything he puts out outside of Secret Wars and Doomsday, because he has less control, I think, in those films, but he clearly has some clout with Sony and Marvel. So, and especially after this film, like they're going to be like, "What do you want to do next, Tom?"
Yeah.
Now his name's Mr. Holland.
Mr. Holland, Mr. Zendaya. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I'm not like opposed to it, but I agree. Also, that's a long period of time, in the grand scheme of things. So, yeah, who knows? The interest might wane over time. Doomsday might be shit, and they're just like, all right, let's bail. Let's bail.
All right, let's actually. Well, maybe they're like, hey, let's go back to this one that we like.
Yeah,
I mean, I tell you what. After seeing a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse or Beyond the Spider-Verse or whatever it is, Spider-Verse the cartoon, seeing Jake Johnson's, Jake Johnson's, the way he portrayed Spider-Man in those movies as like an older, kind of like late 30s, early 40s or whatever, like somebody who has a kid and all these things, like that was like, hey, I enjoyed it. And not to say that I want Tom Holland to do the exact same character like trajectory, but like I see the potential. It's like, oh no, I wouldn't mind a Spider-Man of that age coming into play. And like you said, introducing Miles in the second one, and then it being a Miles movie for the third one, and then Tom Holland comes near the end. Kind of what they're sort of doing with the Spider-Man video game, it feels like.
Yeah.
But I think it's all up in the air. But I agree as far as like having enough time away from a property is beneficial, because there's just this conversation in Hollywood right now. It's like, how much time does a movie need for it to be beneficial again in the box office? Because we're not giving our audience enough time to want things,
right?
Because absence makes the heart grow fonder, in the words of Robin Hood. And so you watch things like Moana, that just was here. You watch things like what's it called? There's something else that just literally just happened. Mario, Minions, all these things where it's like you literally just saw, or Supergirl with Superman, like you literally just saw these characters, this world. If you maybe giving what is the appropriate amount of time for people to breathe, to be like, no, I want that again. You know,
And it's crazy to think, like, it has been 5 years since the last Spider-Man.
maybe that's the magic number.
Yeah,
5 or 4.
5 or 4. Yeah.
I do remember them announcing it kind of early though, because I remember thinking, "Wow, we just got that Spider-Man movie. I can't believe they're really going to push forward with another one right away." But you're right, it did like it was, but and then the Batman also going on right now too, where it's like we're gonna get the Batman 2 in 28 now. It's like that's too long, you know.
Yeah.
So like, there's a middle ground here, you know.
Yeah. Business, the Hollywood business.
Like, who am I, man? What do I know? What a movie! What an episode, you guys.
Spider-Man Brand New Day. Any closing thoughts, I guess, guys? We loved it. I'd love
Any
to see it
favorite
again.
moments or anything we didn't like that we could walk away with? Oh, I did have a question, and maybe I just missed this, and I could have done my own research about it. But I was getting like the quote unquote villain guy in this who was like capturing Jean Grey and his sister. I was getting like Trask vibes from him, but he's not Trask, is he?
He's not Trask, but the second time watching it, I definitely felt that too, Ed. And it was something like, okay, I could see him and Trask like teaming up.
Right. Seems like
know,
the same kind of agenda.
yeah, where Trask is like very X-Men oriented. Like he could be like the overall like Marvel, I don't know, like entity, you know, like this
Yeah.
this corporation he works for, I had forgotten, but they're in Homecoming. Like that's when you first see them.
Yeah.
And when they take all the stuff away from Michael Keaton's crew and all that. So yeah, like him being like the general,
Tramell
like
Tillman,
kind of,
sorry.
yeah.
Okay, his character is William Metzger.
Mesker or something.
Metzger, yeah.
But it does feel like Trask, and so I do wonder what they're gonna do, or if they're gonna kind of rewrite that character for him to be that character, you know, in this version of the X-Men. Because it's clear like very similar themes there.
Well, on a positive side, I really did. I enjoyed the city swinging, but I did enjoy the the Ned reunion and the fight with Hulk. I thought was cool. I mean, I'm always
My
down
jaw
for a bit of
dropped
smash. Yeah,
when he like webbed all the building to him, and then the building kind of goes to fall, and Hulk's like holding it up
yeah.
right before he like slips and lets go. I was like, oh my God, like that building just ripped apart. And I just always think about these moments like being the guy on the street where it's like, fuck, I'm about to die.
Like, do you feel something?
That thing falling on literally anyone is death, you know? And like, and I love when Banner comes back and he's always just like, who did I hurt? Like, you know, I lost control. And, but yeah, no, that was a good, and also like being scared of Hulk again, which is like not happened in a while. And I remember like, especially in Avengers and maybe a little bit of Avengers too, but like Hulk being scary and that working for his character. And being scared for Spider-Man for a brief moment until he was on his back. Like right away, like Hulk goes to smash him again, but he's already gotten off, and he's hanging on the back trying to put the inhibitor on, and I was just like, oh man, Spider-Man is like, he's in control. Like he knows what to do with himself. Like he's a worthy opponent of Hulk now, you know.
It's crazy. It's just a perfect combination of things, like his abilities, his attitude, his powers. And because like, remember when he faced off against Doctor Strange, he was like, you know, a magical ass man, and he was like changing worlds, and he was able to outwit him. And then for Hulk, he was able to outsmart him. And it's just any situation, any villain you put him in, he's able to find the angle and work it for him. And so, yeah, it's like, it's very, very cool. All right, Spider-Man Brand New Day, you know.
I loved it.
What a movie, what
Miguel
a title. I don't know if I like about these little Brand New Day. Do you guys like that or no?
I'd say better than the home ones, you know.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's just, who cares?
I mean, do we want Spider-Man? This would be Spider-Man 4, you know. Do we want that again? Like Spider-Man 1,
Spider-Man 4. Yeah, you're right.
Spider-Man will return in Spider-Man 5.
All right. Well, hey, this made a lot of money. Some say buka money. And so let's talk about
People do
the
say that.
summer movie wager and see what the situation is. This movie just came out, guys. Okay.
Yeah.
It just came out, but it's already at number 2. Number 1 is still Toy Story 5 at 464 million. Right underneath that is Spider-Man Brand New Day at 449. It took 1 weekend for it to catch up to Toy Story 5, which has been out forever. So there you go. The Odyssey still at 3, 414 million. That's the 400 club right there. Those 3. Then we break down.
When was the last time that happened? Do you know what I mean?
It's totally like the top making that much money. Been a while. And so, but then after that is Obsession at the $262 million club. Devil Wears Prada 2 as well. Backrooms number 6. And then we go into kind of the lower tier, which is Star Wars, Mandalorian and Grogu, Minions and Monsters 8. Number 9 is Moana, and number 10, Disclosure Day. So, this has been a crazy ass summer. If you guys know, we're competing to decide who's going to nail it perfectly.
As it stands today, what
today, I'm number 1.
Hell
but who knows? Because last week it was Ed, right? And then weeks before that it was Miguel, and then weeks before that it was Ben. So we've all held top, like first place.
We've all been at the top and at the very bottom too, which is, I think, a testament of what kind of crazy summer this has been. Like, we literally are just changing places the entire time.
And Miguel's only, 7 points away from me. But a lot of that is going to change because he put Spider-Man Brand New Day as his number 1. Toy Story 5 was my number 1. So I'm getting major points because I, quote unquote, nailed Toy Story 5 as number 1, as well as Ed and Ben. But Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to beat Toy Story 5. It will be the number 1 movie of the summer. And Miguel will get those points. He will, outshine us in that way. And we're going to see where it all lands because, the way that this works out, it could be Miguel taking it up across the line.
I will say this, like, even if I lose, but if Spider-Man does become number 1 and I get 1, 2, and 3 bang on, that'll be my best year ever. Like, of us doing this.
If you do that, that's you're gonna win because it's like you get 13 points for the top one, and then 10 points if you get dead on. So that's what, 33 points immediately.
Yeah. Well, and if like Mando doesn't really move, if it stays, it's bang on for me right now too.
I mean, I don't know if things are going to really move that much.
If it's only 1 and 2 that changes,
I was just telling Miguel that there's no really big releases. Like Spider-Man was really the last big fucker up.
Because my 13 points will then become 7 points. Because if you're 1 away from where you voted from, it's 7, and then you will hit number 1, and your 7 points will become 13. And I'm 7 ahead, and so
my only hope for I still
here we go
can't win is if the Odyssey catches up to Toy Story 5. If the Odyssey catches up to Toy Story 5, which it is closing in on, like Toy Story 5 has slowed down considerably.
It could, really could.
And right now it's literally only 50 million. And I mean, the Odyssey only just slowed down to 50 million this last weekend, despite Spider-Man still coming out. Now, Spider-Man is going to shift over to IMAX theaters starting this weekend, but there's clearly still, desire to go see the Odyssey. But also, we're also seeing the end of summer happening, summer break.
50 million is that what it was? 50 million difference between? Let's see, 414 to 464 for Toy Story. So
it could happen. Just 2 more weekends, it could be there.
It could be Miguel, Ed, and then me, even though right now it's me, Miguel, Ed, because of you putting the Odyssey so high up. If you want more details, go to our Instagram at PunchDrunkNerd. You can click the link. You can see it for yourself. You can figure it out yourself and kind of keep up with what's going on. But for now, at this moment, I've won. All right, great job, guys.
Shut
it's
it
August,
down, right?
July. It's the summer's over.
This is the last episode ever.
This is it. We did it. I'm the winner. I think
that's why, because every week has changed so dramatically, especially in this last month or so. It's just like I never hold anything dear until it's over. Especially this summer. It's like last week so middle of the week or whatever, I was ahead, and I was like, okay, cool, but it's just going to shift again.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
Wait a second. Hold on.
What? We haven't been recording the entire time.
No, wait.
That'd be a bummer.
No, we are recording, but I was just looking at the rules here. In each year, a specific time period will be specified, would define a summer. Usually such period will start in May and Labor Day weekend. When is Labor Day weekend?
That's
September
the
5th or
second.
something?
Yeah, September. It's the first weekend of September.
Okay. Never mind. I thought, for some reason, I thought this month was the 9th. It's not. It's the 8th. So, okay. So, yeah, this will wrap September 7th, 2026. I was like,
There you go.
August 7th? I won. No, but September, let me
Oh, you thought we were done, huh?
You thought we were, I thought I was done. I was like, all right, I did it.
Spider-Man's got like 200 million more to make.
Yeah. So before that or near that, we'll have an episode about the Summer Movie Wager. Before we move on to talk about other things, I know this isn't on our docket, but to our kind of key listeners, the people who've been watching every single week and listening every single week, thank you so much. I appreciate it deeply, immensely that you're on here for the ride. Sometimes I get texts from y'all about it. You're incredible. And you might have noticed, hey, the podcast kind of looks and sounds a little bit differently now. We know what's going on. The intro music used to be underneath y'all when you started talking, and used to have the like a picture of it at the bottom. It just looks like something about it is different, and it is a little bit different because I'm utilizing Riverside's editing stuff to just make the whole process a little bit easier. And as I try to add more things on my shoulders to do more things, I've just wanted to test something out and see how this runs. It looks like it's running okay. And honestly, if I had it my way, I would probably edit the way I would used to. But respectfully, we do have a small audience, and I don't have enough time to do all that. If we did get paid, it would be way more like nice and whatever. But I think it's good enough for like the double digits audience that we have.
To put it bluntly, me and Miguel have not stepped up to that task.
Well,
yet.
you guys help with the pub and the thumbnails and things like that. So it's a team effort, all that. And so just saying like, hey, what's going on? Well, I'm using a new tool, and I've used it with Riverside, which is pretty great. I'm able to almost be like export almost immediately. And then the second thing is, if you haven't noticed, is on podcasts, like the Apple Podcasts, we are now on video. We have been on video for Apple Podcasts for the past couple weeks. I didn't say anything yet because I was still kind of testing it out. We used to be on Spotify on video. I removed that because we have more views on Apple Podcasts. So if you were into that, I'm sorry. But yeah, Apple Podcasts now has video. So if you don't want to go on YouTube and you're listening to Apple Podcasts, you literally can toggle it, and you'll see our faces on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. And then I think there was like one more thing. If you want to help us out, listen, the name of the game of out there is clips. So if you're like, oh my God, that was such a funny moment that you guys had, if you don't mind like hitting me up or whatever and letting me know, or you want to help us create clips or something like that, maybe there's some sort of financial thing that we can help you out. But I think it would be cool if we had some consistent clip out there. And if you're a fan and you want to help out, great. If not, no worries. Just keep enjoying the show. But the ask is out there. Guys, let's move on to our next bit of whatever it is. What are we talking about here? What we're into?
I think I'm the only one who's into anything. You guys aren't into shit.
Yeah, I didn't like
that.
that.
So busy.
You guys have perfect lives, I know. Yeah, I mean, I've been into stuff. If we want to talk about it, it'll be brief.
I mean, I watched Devil Wears Prada too. I mean, but that was
Was it good?
Yeah, it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I think it was like, oh, this is what's it called? It had something to say. It wasn't just like, let's turn it around, let's play the old hits. I think it was clever in how they were able to reposition Miranda and what's her name? Alex? No.
Yeah.
What's her name? Who's the lead character?
Annie. No.
Annie. No,
No.
Anne Hathaway. That's the actor.
But the
Alex.
character.
Andy.
No.
Andy.
Andy.
Yeah.
Because like she kind of grows up and moves on and moves past Miranda, and it's like, how are
Andrea.
you going to have that back and forth again, where she's kind of below her and she's above her, and the way they're able to kind of reorchestrate that again seemed organic enough, and I was like, oh no, this works, and it really does feel like when you're meeting an old friend again, where you're like, oh my god, we haven't seen each other in years, but it's the same old shit. I just thought like, wow, like when I first saw Emily Blunt in this role, I was like, she is perfect for this role. And then I saw her again, I'm like, man,
Yeah,
she does a great job in this role. And I think, and then obviously everyone does a really great job. I was impressed and I was surprised. And you know what? I know I was dogging it for being so high in the summer movie wager for it's pretty high, number 5 to be honest, at 220. But still, I wasn't like disappointed in what I saw. I was like, okay, this was. All right, they people were doing something, and so I appreciated it for that.
It's on my watch list. We just haven't gotten around to it. We've been busy ourselves lately. But it's one that Sarah and I want to watch together.
It's like the perfect storm. It's like there's a moment in time where like, I think this is the movie right now for us to watch.
Yeah.
Do you know? And it just hits. And that's like what it is going to be for me for Wuthering Heights. It's like I want to see that movie, but like there's going to be a moment where it's like, now we're going to watch this.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So,
well, I look forward.
We were going to do that. Kristen came home from New York and was like, "Oh yeah, I watched that on the plane." And I was like, "You watched it without me?"
The Devil
she
Wears
was like,
Prada?
"Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, I thought you already saw it." And I was like, "When would I have fucking watched that movie?"
Because you had it so high on your summer movie wager, Miguel. We thought you were bursting.
What? I can't. Ed, you had something on your list too that you were like, "Oh, I'm not going to go see it." What was it?
The Mandalorian.
Maybe that's what it was. And I was just surprised that you were like someone else took your daughter to go see it. And I was like, you put it on the list like you wanted to make money. Like, but I'm not going to give it money.
I don't want it to make money, but I thought it might. And even then I was disappointed. So great.
There we are. There we are.
Yeah. Well, yeah, good for them.
It's on a list. Devil Wears Prada 2.
All right. What I'm sure is not on you guys' list, but you might remember that I think it was like a year ago or two, Amazon Prime had their own Batman animated series called the CAPED CRUSADER, and they just came out with season 2, and I literally just wrapped it up today. I enjoy this show. I think it's really it's just a unique enough take on the Batman lore and the characters. Like they do slightly different takes on certain characters. It's all set in like 1930s like Gotham, and all the characters, there's like an element of supernatural characters to it, but everything is also somewhat grounded, and some characters are only similar like in name, like their whole background or their whole power or whatever is different. Poison Ivy, for instance, appears in this season. They never directly call her Poison Ivy, but it's all the traits of Poison Ivy, or similar traits anyway. And she has like an interesting story. They play it kind of like episodically. So with each character, or rather with each episode, you're introduced to a new villain or whatever. But then all the while, especially in this season, the Joker is slowly coming into the scene, and he's kind of not pulling the strings, but he's kind of working his way to the top whilst like the rest of Gotham is tearing itself apart. And they do a cool and very, I mean, I wouldn't say like outrageously different, but a different take on the Joker, which I appreciated. Like it wasn't just like who can have the most maniacal laugh. In fact, this Joker barely laughs at all, and he leaves the laughter to his victims, which I thought was cool.
Okay.
Well, it's like that, like laughing gas that like leaves their face transfigured with a smile. So yeah, no, there's a cool different turns on things, and there's like some cool action that I enjoy. that feels, kind of like an ode to like classic Hollywood and stuff like that. So yeah, I think they do a lot of interesting things. It was very easy to get through these 10 episodes. I'm also watching X-Men 97, but they're also just releasing their episodes once a week. So I was able to catch up on this one while still watching that. I think there's 2 more episodes of X-Men, but yeah, I'm all done with this one, and I'm here for more. I'm enjoying it. So if you're like a just general Batman fan and you enjoyed the animated series, but you want something slightly different, I think this offers that. I think they do a good job with it. Miguel, I know you weren't a big fan of like the look of the animation style, and it is what it is, I guess. But I like it. I dig it.
I'm just completely forgot about this show. I think it's crazy that you're the one that's like keeping shows alive. Like who's watching Rings of Power? But
Me.
there's Ed,
Yeah.
faithful viewer of Amazon. Him and Jeff Bezos sitting on the couch together watching these shows.
I would not be in this house with him.
Not the only cape that you watched this week, though, huh?
No, well, this one will be even briefer. We talked about the new Apple TV show, Cape Fear, that's based on like the movies and the books, with Javier Bardem and Amy Adams. I literally just started that. I've watched like 1 episode, but I'm gonna say it's got me intrigued. I think it
10 out of 10 so far.
It, wouldn't go that far, but it's enough to keep me invested for now. I think Javier Bardem does a good job. I always enjoy seeing Amy Adams. I feel like I know she's been doing stuff, but it feels like she's not getting enough attention. So I'm glad to kind of just see her out there again doing her thing. But so far so good, and I'm looking forward to seeing more.
All right. It's on the fucking list.
I was surprised that you didn't come in here saying I watched all of Ted Lasso or whatever.
Right.
That just dropped today, no?
I think so.
Yeah.
So
that's a show I'm going to be watching with Sarah, though. So
you gotta wait.
I'm gonna wait.
Next week is the season finale of House of the Dragon, season 3. What a ride! What a spoiler alert! What a great season so far. And I think next week I think we're going to talk about it. If maybe I don't know, I just bounce this on y'all. Maybe we'll talk about it. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll have Steven. Maybe we won't. But to find out, tune in next week. But until then, it's been me, Luis Gonzalez, and with me's been
Miguel Sanchez.
And Ed Bull, yeah. Why was I waiting for Luis? I don't know.
And until next time, later, Gators.